had sort of that I'm screwing myself up because all I can think about right now is a sea anemone. Gregory.
Oh, Anthony. Long time no talk, or see, or whatever this is that we're doing.
Well, I can see you, but
I know, but like, do you consider seeing someone virtually as like seeing them?
as long as you have, well, I mean, you could consider a lot of things, a lot of different things on the internet, Greg. Let's not jump. Let's not jump ahead. Let's not jump ahead. I haven't even opened the bottle yet.
I haven't touched it. It still is a paper seal and everything.
Oh, I have the paper seal. I believe in the last episode I mentioned that I was super excited about this one because I have actually never had this bourbon.
I know, which I am extremely surprised about.
Yeah,
because
me
this
too.
is definitely one that's popular.
Yes.
Like, I've had this one
something popular?
many times. It's definitely something popular. It's something that when I go to a bar or something and I don't know what to get, if I'll see it on the shelf, there's a solid chance I'm going to pick it up.
Do you know why I've never got it? Like, this is not disparaging them at all. I have no, I don't know why. The label to me personally does nothing for me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
The label is super cool.
I don't know. I wanna judge it based on taste, but I can say that the reason I think I have not tried it or had it or ordered it at a bar or left a liquor store with it is like I look at it and I'm like, eh.
You know, we've bantered about it a lot. Do you want to introduce it and get everyone out of suspense?
Today's bottle is Michter's Small Batch USA 1 Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Now made 100% in Louisville, Kentucky. Proofing on this is a 91.4, very specific proofing number. Not 90, not 92, 91.4. Distilled small batch according to the Michter's pre-Revolutionary War quality standards dating back to 1753. I love that they have 1753 on the bottle. In doing some research preparation-wise, I found out that this was originally a PA brand.
Really?
Yeah. So there was originally a PA brand that like went defunct. Like after they did some specialty thing where they like had golden sarcophagus, small decanter golden sarcophagi, because it was
sarcophagi.
Yeah, because it was like was it the 1800s, late 1800s, somewhere in there where they like discovered King Tut's tomb. So it was like a big like craze thing.
Early night. Well, I think King Tut's tomb was discovered later. Actually, I think that was more like the 60s or the 70s.
Oh, so so 70s then.
Yeah,
but it was
in the 70s.
Well, it was around much before that. Then at some point after that, it defunct.
And then hopped on the King Tut craze, just like everyone else.
and well, apparently it didn't go very well for him because they declared bankruptcy and ended up. And the name, like, it's not even the same people. Like, the name got bought and started getting made in Kentucky.
Something neat. King Tut wasn't even old enough to drink when he died, so it's kind of whatever.
Well, when you only
at least
lived,
when he ruled. I don't know when he lived to.
It couldn't have been like teens or.
I think he started ruling when he was young. I do think he died
like
younger, but it was probably like 20-something, I think, when he died.
Yeah, but he definitely started his reign like.
I think it was 12. That
12 or 14, somewhere in there.
One of those. Too young to be in charge of what we now think of as like a giant ancient power.
Well, when you have the aliens telling you what to do, does it really matter how old you are?
You think he was just a puppet for the aliens?
Egypt the years wise for Egypt are so weird because the way that Egypt. Oh my god, how was it? It's like Cleopatra, like so mammoths. Like woolly mammoths still walked the earth when the pyramids when the pyramids were built. Woolly mammoths still walked. No, the Great Pyramids. Great Pyramids of Giza. Woolly mammoths. Correct. And there's like some weird like early Egypt.
Okay, wait, pause. The Great Pyramids were not built in early Egypt. And Egypt was a very long-spanning empire.
Oh yeah.
So I'm willing to bet a point
that woolly mammoths were alive
were not around. Were not around.
The woolly mammoths 100% were.
When the Great Pyramids at Giza were built, not when the beginning of the empire, but when the Great Pyramids at Giza were built, I don't think there were woolly mammoths still. And
I know I'm right. So you are willing to lose. You're willing to lose the lead on this, right?
I am willing to lose the lead on this because I don't think so.
It's a damn shame. because as you were saying that, I was typing, yes, woolly mammoths were around when the Great Pyramids of Giza were built. In fact, last known group of woolly mammoths survived all the way up until 1650
Really?
BC. Over 1,000 years before the pyramids were constructed.
After.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah, after.
actually,
Yep.
actually, interesting enough, my years for when the pyramids were built were not off. It was
When
that
woolly mammoths died.
were around for that long. I was looking that 300,000 years ago. I was thinking it was probably like 100,000 years ago.
And then there's some other weird, like, time warpy fact
Oh,
where
wait,
it's
wait.
like, hold on, I gotta look this up now,
Wait,
because
pause for a second here, because-
Cleopatra was
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Right below that, it says one species called woolly mammoth roamed the North America from 300,000 until about 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, but the last known group. Oh, I was thinking that 10,000 years ago is what I was thinking, because that's like the Great Ice Age was then.
There's some other really weird fact where it's like Cleopatra lived closer to the creation of the iPhone than the building of the Great. Yeah. Yeah, that's like, because like people don't realize how long Egypt was Egypt.
Yeah, no, Egypt is a very long empire.
Yeah.
I knew that, and I knew
That's
Cleopatra
insane.
because I also knew that Cleopatra was around the same time as like ancient Greece.
Yeah, and like
that kind of stuff.
Either ancient Greece or early Rome, but somewhere in the
yeah, because I think like Alexander the Great or something.
Yeah,
was around at the same ish time.
Yeah, somewhere in that general vicinity. But it's nuts to me that she lived closer to the invention of the modern cell phone than the building of the pyramids.
That is absolutely
No,
ridiculous.
it's just
You know what else is ridiculous?
what? That we haven't
We still
started
haven't
drinking
opened
yet?
this bottle.
Yeah,
we still have
Jesus.
not opened this bottle. What are
Oh
we
my
doing?
god! All right, and
Are you ready?
The topic for this episode is not even Egypt.
No, this was just.
It just so happened Michter decided to do the King Tut thing. Okay, so off the whiff of the bottle, I already have some super interesting notes here.
Yeah, I'm gonna not put too much into the smell from the bottle.
Let's get a that's more than it. Well, oh well. It's only 90. This is the low. I think this is the lowest proof one we've had so far.
It is, but I just took a whiff of it and it burned up in the nostrils quite a bit.
You gotta let it breathe. It's like wine. I think.
I wanted to breathe it. I didn't want to let it breathe. I wanted to.
See, I'm not getting. Like I'm not getting those like acetones like it's just I don't know, it's to me it's almost like it's very well rounded. Like I'm not getting a ton of harshness.
No, I'm not getting like,
but I'm also not getting like,
I'm honestly not getting much. It's
yeah.
mostly just alcohol smell.
No, so I'm not just getting alcohol. Like I'm getting a little bit of the wood, I'm getting a little bit of sweetness, but I'm getting a lot of rounded. Like
I'm
notes.
getting undertones of that, but I'm getting honestly mostly like, like alcohol-y smells, like mostly like not quite isopropyl alcohol, but like pushing that a little bit.
Are you under the weather?
No, I'm fantastic.
That's
on top of the weather.
That's just interesting how people's palates are different. Like because I'm not getting that harshness. Like I'm getting, when I say it rounded, what I mean is I'm getting a little bit of the wood, a little bit of the vanilla, like the classic things that you would expect from a bourbon. I'm getting hints of those all the way around.
Yeah, I think.
But nothing's punching me in the face.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. I think nothing's punching me in the face. I think of what we've had so far between the Henry McKenna, 4 O's a single barrel, and this, I think that this has the most mild smell, and we'll check out the flavor.
I couldn't not drink anymore. All right, first sip, acclimatizing. Definitely not as smooth as the first two, but I like it. I have nothing against it.
It's a little more fumey.
A little bit more.
It's not. So I think it has less burn going down, but it's definitely like after I took a sip of it, when I breathed, it was like fumey.
A little bit.
It's kind of sweet. I think it's sweeter than the other ones.
But
it's like sugar sgetting not like brown sugar, like not like deep, but like just like bright sweet.
I'm getting it's a brighter sweet, almost like there's like a fruit sweetness, but I can't put my finger exactly on it. Almost like a strawberry.
Really, I don't.
No, it's like when I say like it's like a clean sweetness, or like almost like it doesn't. I'm not saying it tastes like a strawberry. I'm saying it's like that level of. I'm getting like that level of sweet, or maybe even like a grape.
Yeah, maybe. Almost like maybe a plum. I think I would go with plum sweetness.
Okay.
Because it has a little bit of a flavor to it.
Some type of like a stone fruit.
A stone fruit, but like a
Was that
darker stone fruit.
We didn't actually
definitely get a little bit of wood too.
Yeah, I get some of the oakiness. It's so there's no age statement on it, but I normally when you go with small batches, you can kind of tell if there's like some younger whiskeys batched into it. I'm not really tasting any of that. I think everything batched into this probably had a decent bit of age to it. When I say decent bit, at least 3 or 4 years. I mean, I don't know that, and not that you'd be able to figure that out. And seeing if it actually...
I wish it said something about it.
Well...
I do think it's kind of fun. Like, we were looking at the Henry McKenna that had the nice handwritten numbers on it.
This one does.
So do you want to look at that handwritten number a little closer?
Son of a bitch.
It's printed. It's just like in Comic Sans or something, so it looks like it's hand printed.
Well, look, so my initial thought on the whiskey is that I like it. And for... a whiskey as popular as this is, I think it's number 2 or number 3 on most purchased brands in the U.S. as last year, and I believe it was also I think there was a tag that came on the bottle. Hold on, was it 2023 most admired whiskey in the world?
What most admired whiskey means? I have no idea.
No, and honestly, from doing some of the research and like looking at the bottle and like the printed number, I think these guys are. I don't want this to sound disparaging. I think these guys are almost as good at marketing as they are at making whiskey. because the label makes it look like it's super old, but they've only been making their own stuff since the early 2000s.
Early 2000s? Really? It's that recent?
Yeah, so like they moved and then they bought a bunch of whiskeys from other distilleries that were trying to get rid of extra. So that's where they started out with like their 10-year rye and their 10-year bourbon. They were buying old stuff from other ones, and then they started to try to make through consignment. So it's called contract distilling. They found other distilleries where they could take their mash bill and the recipe and make it there, and they tried to get those as similar to the original ones that they consigned as they could. And then in the early 2000s, they had finally got their own facility and started making their own, and now that's 100% of what Michter's sells is like purchased at Michter's. Or produced at Michter's.
So do you know if this 1753 thing actually has anything to do with the recipe they're using?
That's why I mentioned that I think they're just as good at marketing as they are at making bourbon.
I'm actually reading this again.
I don't think that 1753 has anything to do...
I don't think it says established 1753, but in the kind of ring around the outside, it says... distilled in small batches according to the Michter's pre-Revolutionary War quality standards, dating back to 1753. That doesn't say anything about this being from 1753, just that they use quality standards from 1753, which, quite frankly, makes me a little bit worried about their sanitization processes.
And we learn how important sanitization is. Now, fortunately, with whiskey, you are distilling, and is 91 proof? Is that enough to kill bacteria?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well,
45. It'd be 45%, 45 and change.
So it should kill most stuff. Usually you want like 70%, but like 45 should be pretty good to kill most things.
Fair enough. Well, so
including brain cells. Cheers.
I like it.
I like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's like, it's also, I'd have to actually go back and look, but I'm fairly certain this was the least expensive of the bottles so far.
I think so too.
Now it's going to vary by state. Like every state, like your pricing and stuff is different. But the other 2 bottles, I think, sit comfortably in like the low 60s. The Henry McKenna might have actually been a little bit more.
Yeah. I think the Henry McKenna was a little bit more. I think
if you can find it,
you can find it. At least you can in Pennsylvania, it seems.
I had them print when we bought these batches. I had them print me out a receipt that still had the Henry McKenna. It was a pretty short list in the Pittsburgh area.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, there was like maybe 6 stores that still had any number of bottles.
I feel like now every time I go into a whiskey or into a PA Wine and Spirits, I'm just gonna be like, hey, how many Henry McKenna 10 years are there in the area?
You'll run out eventually, maybe. Yeah, then single 4 Rose is a single barrel. It's like I think you're in the high 50s, low 60s. I think this was 40 and change.
I think, or like 50 flat.
Yeah, so like PA has like a higher tax. Like I said, if you bought this same bottle in Kentucky, I bet you it's like $39.
About $5.
About $5. About $5.
$5 in a candy bar.
You give them a candy bar, they give you a bottle of whiskey. I get why it's popular. I mean,
Definitely.
I understand why a lot of people put it on the shelf, like have it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, it's a go. You know, if you don't know what to get at a bar, it's a go to.
I always know it's gonna be good. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be crazy. It's not gonna be like a revolutionizing experience or anything.
We'll be
But it'll be
revolutionary.
enjoyed. Revolutionary experience.
We'll be revolutionary standards.
That's pre-revolutionary standards. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. 1753.
Yeah, pre-revolutionary. Just a little.
You know else was pre-revolutionary? At one point in early America, George Washington's estate, Mount Vernon. It was Mount Vernon, right? It was George Washington's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the single largest producer of whiskey in the country.
Anyway.
Amber color. Speaking of
Yeah, I
things
think
that
it's
are
about the same color as the Four Roses was.
Yeah.
I think it's a little lighter than the John McKenna.
Henry McKenna.
Henry McKenna.
The more I drink it, the more the actual scent is like opening back up, and I am getting a little bit more of like that oaky vanilla-ness that you would expect.
Yes, I'm
On the
getting
nose.
vanilla now more. I'm getting
Yeah.
a lot more vanilla now as we're going.
Yeah, now that the palate's more acclimatized.
Yeah, it's not shocked anymore.
All right. So I guess we'll do it at the end. We'll see once we get through half the bottle. We'll see where we put it in the rank of the others thus far.
Right now, I'm putting it at number 3. We'll see how I'm feeling at the end of the episode.
I also have it at number 3.
I have this feeling by the end of the episode that's going to change. But
Yeah, I might. I might move it over the Four Roses. We'll see. Because Four Roses single. If it was small batch, I would. You know what would be interesting if we did small batch to small batch. Four Roses. We did Four Roses single barrel, and then this is a small batch.
We should have done it to compare.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
We're on this journey
We'll
together.
always do it some other time.
You know where else people live and learn, Greg?
Where?
The internet.
Yes. There's definitely a lot to live and learn about on the internet. Some good, a lot bad.
It's I when we were sort of thinking about what we wanted to do with something popular and talk about internet culture and memes and social media and all that stuff, it's hard not to try bring up things that have happened recently that will make it so that what we talk about doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't age well, but it'll be irrelevant so quickly. It was oh yeah, this such and such just had such this thing break, or this is the current trend on TikTok. If we get too specific, it will mean nothing.
I mean, honestly, anything that you talk about with current event or trends or memes or anything on the internet, if you talk about what's going on right now and not just in a general sense, it's going to be out the window tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's that quick.
I mean, fail videos will never die. It's the number of hours that you and I spent just eating Bolino's pizza. Shout out Pizza Bolino, chicken ranchero pizza.
Whoa. Can you please export that? Because that sandwich is the single best sandwich I have ever eaten in my life. And I can't get it anything even close to it anywhere else.
It's a good sandwich. But the number of times we've consumed those sandwiches and watched just hour-long YouTube montages of fail videos.
Yep. Shout out to Fail Army. I think that was
Fail
one of my
Army,
favorite
baby.
ones. All the time. Just let it go and eat food, drink some yings, and watch fail videos.
So, internet's been around for a hot minute. But how long do you think what you would consider internet culture has been around?
Ooh.
You know what I mean when I
So-
say internet culture, right?
I do think I do know what you mean. I think that it has been around for a long time, pretty much since the dawn of the internet being available to the general public. But I think just like the memes themselves, it's something that evolves super quickly and has been changing since then. I think internet culture, as I think of it, I think really started with the advent of probably YouTube and video hosting sites, and when people could really get the actual things that they want to make and put them on the internet easily without any kind of feedback or anything, and could do pretty much whatever they wanted.
I agree, but I think it goes further back than YouTube. So
You think so?
Yeah, so there's, in my mind, it's sort of segments two different ways. So there was when internet culture became a thing, but it wasn't socially acceptable culture. I'm thinking back to I dare not say their name, but 4chan.
Well, 4chan, I honestly don't know when 4chan started.
Hold on, 4chan origin. So
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even
it.
think to look this up, but like I don't know if 4chan was before or after. So 4chan was 2003. When was YouTube?
So, like 2006, I think.
Okay.
Is that right?
Possibly 2005. You were close. And I'm betting.
Yeah, so it's right around the same time.
Yeah, and
honestly.
I'm betting that the what do they call Reddit? The front page of the internet.
Yeah.
Which it truly is. Hold
Yeah.
on, Reddit invention.
Well, we can get into Reddit in a few minutes because I have thoughts on Reddit.
Oh well, that's everyone has thoughts on Reddit, and that's why Reddit is Reddit, buddy.
Well, I mean Reddit itself, not what the content of Reddit.
It can be two things. Also 2005. So you know what?
Really?
So these all
Early
sort
2000s.
of. Yeah, so it was the early 2000s. So it's like I think the internet went from like
The middle of the aughts.
yeah, like when it became readily available to everybody, and I think smartphones coming out almost like immediately following that.
Pretty much camera phones because everybody had some kind of a recording device in their pocket at all times. So anytime anything interesting happened, they could record it and post it. And then people that were more savvy and wanted to really be more creative and make videos and stuff had actually a platform to make videos.
Yeah, because the first iPhone was 2007. So you had like from it seems like about a 5-year window from like let's call it 2000 through like 2006 2005 where all of these companies popped up and they were forums. They themselves didn't really, well, I guess that's not fair, but like they didn't create internet culture. They just created the platform for it to sit on.
Yeah, it was hosting sites. Like I said with the YouTube, it still goes back to the same thing of when it was possible for people to just post what they were thinking and what they wanted to get out there easily and spread it to the masses, really in a free and easy way. And that's really, I think, what started what I think of as today's internet culture.
Yeah, well, I think now like internet culture and mainstream culture are almost synonymous. Like you have, I'm not going to venture the actual percentage. I'm guessing that half of people under 40 probably get their news from Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, like Twitter. Like they're probably getting their, like, no, they're not reading the paper. They're not watching the nightly news. They're getting their news from these social media platforms. And it's all, it's being fed to them based on those platforms' algorithms pointing them in that direction. We're going to be, as we decide to post our podcast stuff on these social media platforms, us too will be slaves to the algorithm. Like putting stuff on social media, hoping it gets pushed. And I don't know, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that that's the way that news is disseminated now?
Oh, I think it's horrible. I think that.
Well, but at least they're getting it.
Well, no, I don't think so at all, actually. I mean, I think a lot of the times it would be better for people not to even get the news than to just get kind of like this tailor-made thing that is only what you want to see and has the spin on it that you want to see the spin of. Like, there's so little like fact checking. There's so little like people like looking at things before it goes out, especially if you're just like looking at people posting videos like reacting to things or like giving their opinions on events that happened. It's like, yeah, maybe the event that happened that they're talking about is news and it's unbiased, but as soon as you're watching kind of your favorite YouTuber react to the news of something happening, now you're just looking at it with a spin on it, and it's easier for you to form the same opinion that they have rather than forming your own opinion if you're just told what's happening.
Agreed. It's super easy to like create your own like echo chamber, and the fact that social media tends to point the same stuff at you, and you tend to be friends with the people that are like-minded and hear them. Personally, one of my favorite things to do is to fight with people about politics on Facebook. I would just it didn't really matter what their position was. I would just take the opposite position just so that I could, because it's just fun. I will say that if you approach the internet and you approach getting your news and your information from the internet with an open mind, I do think that there's a really good opportunity to be able to watch, content from people that you disagree with. Like, if you're willing to do that, like, if you're willing to, like, kind of be uncomfortable hearing a different person's perspective and engage with that audience in a real way, what I'm getting at is, in that way, you are actually better off, because you can't do that with, like, traditional news media. Like, no. I can't tune into, like, CNN or something like that, or Fox, or, pick a side and get an unbiased news story. It's inherently biased. It's fantastical media kind of thing. But I think you can get real unbiased information on the internet. The question is whether or not are you okay with receiving it in that way?
I agree. I think it's a great thing the internet gives you the opportunity to do that. You do have the opportunity to really learn about everything and try to see all the different sides to everything. I think the big thing is most people don't. Like, I think most people, like we were talking about before, they set up their echo chamber, they hear what they want to hear, and they decide that that's the correct way to think, and that anything outside of that way of thinking is not the correct way to think.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I, of course, also fall prey to it to an extent. Like, I mean, just being a human being, I still get the algorithm-tailored content to me. And like you said, unless you, like, go out of your way to actually look into other things, you're not going to hear about it, and you're always going to get the same stuff.
Yeah. Well, so to that same effect, it's really where the internet gave, especially, like, early, I mean, you can still get away with it now, but it's a little bit harder. Platforms like Reddit and things like that, you can hide behind a username, a throwaway account. There's anonymity, and you can have your pseudonyms and post opinions and post content and post information with literally zero repercussions. And that's a lot of the platforms. There's not great controls for it. So you put the onus on the receiver of the information to validate it. But as we all know, everything that's on the internet is true. So
it's infallibly accurate.
Yeah, everything is infallibly accurate. Like,
all the time.
Yeah, like, for example, woolly mammoths being older than the pyramids.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't actually check the source that you got that from, so because
Google's
you just
front
looked it
page.
up really quickly on Google, I'm going to be fact-checking that myself before I actually relinquish that point.
We'll fact-check it later, but
I would like a peer-reviewed, published article from Google Scholar, at least. I need at least 3 sources, and I need a 5-page essay in MLA format.
That's here. I'll cite. Here's your source. I'll cite my source. Here's your source. Source of truth, whiskey. The great thing about it's like, it's not all doom and gloom, right?
No.
I mean, at least for me, it is humorous relief. Like, we were talking about Fail Army, but I, in particular, I love just doom scrolling through TikTok. Like, I would not want to subject our listeners to my For You page, because it's super random assortment of, like, dumb videos, cooking videos, and then, like, Astronomy Alexandra, or whatever her name is, telling me about the most recent JWST pictures.
I think I know who you're talking about. I'm not quite as active on TikTok, but I love anybody that just like, look what JWST just took a picture of. Especially when they did the Pillars of Creation.
Oh, those were
like,
so
oh my
good.
God.
So it's just like, it's the other thing that I follow, and getting a little bit back to, like, early internet. I guess it wasn't super early internet, but certainly earlier than TikTok. A lot of the accounts I follow are just accounts that repost old Vines, because I think that Vines, when you talk about meme culture, like pure, simple internet video meme culture, not I mean, you have your memes that are just like, picture with print. Love those. Yeah. Like, we can talk about our favorites, but I think that we are so blessed to have lived in a time where we had Vine. And it's like, I see the videos now where people, like, jokingly are like, when our grandkids are, like, visiting us in the home, and they're just gonna say something, and we're just gonna go off on a tangent. Like, I'm waiting for, like, I'm 80 in the home, and my great grandchild says, "Oh, we hit a lot of road work on the way." I'm like, road work ahead. I sure hope it does.
Tell me you're a millennial without telling me you're a millennial, please.
Hurricane Tortilla, Hurricane Katrina, more like Hurricane Tortilla. Like I can sit here for like 20 minutes and just do vibes.
Just go through random stuff
for no reason. Like they're culturally like there's no good reason.
It's kind of funny. I feel like I didn't discover Vine until Vine had already died. Like, it's kind of how I watched TikToks before I actually got a TikTok, is I just watched YouTube videos of TikToks. And, again, tell me you're a millennial without telling me you're a millennial. Yeah, exactly. But I did the same thing with Vines after the fact, and have only really watched Vines after the fact on YouTube. So... going back to me thinking that YouTube started internet culture, I still just watch YouTube for the most part.
So the thing is, like, YouTube collects internet culture. Like, YouTube is the repository. It's like, in my opinion, YouTube and Reddit are probably like the ultimate repositories for internet culture. Because you can find a page on Reddit about anything. And it's like, I'm very sure that you could find a page on Reddit dedicating to talking about the history of memes, just like we're doing right now. 100% guaranteed. I didn't look it up, and I'm not going to, but I'm very sure you could find it.
I'm sure there's an R history of memes.
There's
or meme history or
absolutely an
like
R
that.
page. Yeah. And then, like I said, going back to like some of the other internet forums and where you had sort of that anemone. Anonymity. I'm screwing myself. I'm screwing myself up because all I can think about right now is the sea anemone. Anonymity.
Yes, we got there.
This is the first pour, and I had a decent.
Not. I saw you pour a second one already. You liar.
Yeah, but it's like bottomless mimosas. As long as the glass doesn't finish,
it doesn't actually end.
Yeah, it's like I'll get home I'll do it this way and I'll Becca will come home and she'll be like, "How much have you had?" And be like, "I haven't had a full glass yet."
Just one, bringing a new meaning to infinity bottle.
Oh my infinity bottle's coming along nicely.
Yeah,
It's quick side tangent back onto bourbon. You want to hear the quick list of all the stuff that's in my infinity bottle?
I do.
While I pull this up,
you told me that you were working on it, but I actually did not see it or hear it yet. You told me that you were putting it together, and you said that you had put most of your leftover bourbons into it. So now I'm curious as to what you got.
Yeah, I've added to it as well. So for those that don't know, an infinity bottle. A lot of people call it a world bottle. There's a few different names.
Yeah, I know the world bottle. Yeah.
Something that I heard about conveniently on TikTok. It's you take the little bit that's at the bottom of all your whiskey bottles, and you put it in a decanter and like sort of mix it around and like makes your own home blend of whiskey. My flavors are starting to mellow out a little bit. It's still a little odd because I have some finished ones in there. So some of these may make appearances on the pod. Some of these may not.
Some sherry casks.
New Riff. There's a sherry cask in here. New Riff Bottle and Bond 100 proof. There's a Sweet Rust American single malt that was 120 proof.
I am a fan of Sweet Rust.
I'm a fan of Sweet Rust, and I'm also a super big fan, and I think I mentioned it already. American single malts are like taking over the whiskey industry, and I could not be more excited about it. I know I have a couple that I think we could or couldn't do, but nice. So Sweet Rust single Liberty Pole peated rye that was aged in Oloroso sherry casks. That's 102 proof. A peated bourbon from Liberty Pole that's 111 proof. The David E. rum cask finish.
Rum cask.
Yeah, David E.
I did try that.
You did try that one when you were down here. David E. rum cask 97. David E. Chardonnay cask 105 proof. The Kinsey 8-year out of Philly. That was 108 proof. I'm realizing that this bottle is super overproofed.
I think it's super overproofed and it's super Pennsylvania.
Moonrise Rye Whiskey, 90 proof. That's out of Georgia. One of the best distilleries I've ever been to. Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, 100 proof. So Heaven Hill Distillery is the same distillery that makes Henry McKenna. Just so everybody. MLH Livingston Finnish Cross and Circle Edition, aged with XO Cognac.
Cognac,
staves.
XO cognac bottles.
It's not
Or not bottles,
aged.
fucking
So
casks.
so it doesn't. They don't re-age it in a cognac bottle. They drop in cognac staves.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
Yeah, they do the
Talking about
staves one. Liberty Pole peated rye. I may have duplicated that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but I don't know if I drank 2 bottles of it or if I accidentally typed it twice.
I think you drank 2 bottles.
It's entirely
just gonna
possible.
throw that out there.
And then another Kinsey that was finished in Merlot barrels. That was actually one of my favorite drinks.
That sounds interesting. That sounds like a fun flavor.
I stumbled on that one at the PA Libation store. That was a fun drink. That was a good one. So back to the memes.
So back to the memes. So I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I had a bone to pick with Reddit for years. By years, I mean like 10 years, maybe more. I lived on Reddit, and I mean by lived on Reddit, I just lurked. I never posted anything. I never commented. Like you said, I got it mostly for getting news or just lurking in the Reddits that I like just to read how people are doing things, and it was a lot of fun. And I used an app called Reddit is Fun, which then changed RIF because I believe they had some kind of a legal issue. And then I guess a little while ago, what was it, 2022 or maybe early 2023, decided to change the way that they do third-party app charges, and sampling their data, because those apps and stuff, because there are multiple different ones that used to use the Reddit servers, they would have to pay.
Oh, that's
Reddit
cool. I actually didn't know that.
To actually update all of the content that were on those apps. Yeah, so they did this for years, long time. Like I said, I've been using Reddit as Fun for more than 10 years, and they changed the way the pay structure works to where it was moderately affordable to get the information from them, to where I believe the thing that I saw published is if they use the same sampling structure as is they refreshed the content on their app the same amount as they usually did, it would cost them millions of dollars a year for using Reddit. This caused a lot of these third-party apps to actually have to close down, and now you can really, if you're using an app or on your phone or something, you can really only use the Reddit dedicated app that they had made, which was honestly, from what I saw, because I tried to use the Reddit app when they first came out with it.
It's still not my favorite.
It was very much so inferior to these other ones. It's not good. It's not that good. That was their problem, is their app wasn't that good. So they popped up the prices and forced all the other apps out of the market. So you had no choice but to use their app. So since that happened, I have not gone on Reddit.
When was that? How long have you not gone on Reddit?
Probably about a year plus, something like that.
Yeah, now I want to know, because I
can check actually.
Don't get me wrong. I don't go on Reddit a ton. It's definitely not my most go-to, but I certainly go on it more often than once a year.
All right, It was a little bit later than I thought. Reddit RIF, the one that I like to use, shut down June 30th of 2023. So it's been just over a year.
Do I even have the Reddit app? I do have I do, but it's only because it was easier. Every time you
probably do.
They do a good job. Well, depends on your definition of good job. From a business standpoint, I think they do from a business standpoint, they do a good job of directing you to download
from a business
their app. Because if you click on a link on a smartphone, it's view in web page or view in app, and that view in app, on the app takes you straight to the App Store or Google Play Store if you have an Android like a freak. Drink the Kool-Aid, buddy.
Yeah.
No. I'm telling you
Android is the Kool-Aid, not the only single place. Oh, you're telling me to drink.
If I would have had, if my first
you have already
smartphone
drank the Kool-Aid,
would have been an Android, I would probably still have Androids. But because my first, my first smartphone was an iPhone.
I mean, my first phone was an Android.
Just the pain in the ass that it would be to switch to an Android. It is I don't like change.
Yeah. It's funny. I had an iPhone for work forever, and I learned how to use it and I got fine with it, but I just can't get over how you can't do anything with it. You're so limited.
Yeah.
Anyway, off topic. Unnecessary.
That's kind of on topic because it's the way that we digest all of the media that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. It is mostly through our phones and.
Yeah, like I don't browse
Pretty much
TikTok
don't.
on like the computer on a browser.
No.
What like who am I? I don't even
No.
watch YouTubes on my computer very much.
I will say that I have had something good come out of me stopping going on Reddit. Is I downloaded an actual news apps and actually read news articles instead of Reddit.
Ooh, no, I don't like that. You might be, that's see, like
Real
I want to
news.
be informed, but I don't want to be. I want to be informed. Like, what's the best way to put this?
I got it.
yeah,
Wait, I got it. You ready?
yeah,
You want the Daily Show of the news. The fun
kind
spin.
of.
You still get the information, but the fun spin or weekend update from SNL.
Was just like yeah, I guess it's like I want to know, I want to hear the news as if it's being told to me by someone that heard it from a credible source but didn't pay attention all that much.
That doesn't actually know anything about what they heard and just heard the first or just read the title of the article.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, dude, did you hear like what's going on in the Middle East? You're like, oh no, what is going on in the Middle East? Oh, it's bad.
Tell me, Israel's bad.
Tell me,
I don't know what's
tell me
going on
more.
there.
Tell me more. I mean, there's fighting.
Bombs happened.
Yeah, no, it's like one of the sides is like definitely like something. It's bad.
I heard
dude.
Egypt stepped in. I don't or Iran.
bad.
What are those countries? I
Is
don't know.
Egypt
which
in the
one.
Middle East? I don't know.
I don't know. What?
That's like
That's what
because
you're looking for.
yeah, because then it's like, okay, then I get to make the assessment, like is this something that I want to like drag my
Actually
day
dive
down
into.
with? Yeah, do I want to drag my day down
Yeah.
with this?
See,
I don't want
that by
the
looking at
first
my-
thing.
I do that by looking at my news app and scrolling through and reading the headlines and being like, am I gonna click on that? Or am I
Even
just gonna
that.
let that go?
Even that though, some of those headlines are just so specific. That's like, I didn't want to know all that.
You know what it's been great for, actually, though?
Hmm.
There's a whole section of the app that I use that's just local news.
Okay.
And so I actually get, like, things that are happening in the area or, like, different restaurants that are opening, different events that are going on. So it's been really good for, like, learning about different places to check out and fun things that are around, which you
What?
don't really get from, like, Reddit or a different app like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's good. Like, that's good internet.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to use it is, like, actually for advertising and learning about what's going on, like, around you. I think when you get onto, like, a global scale and trying to use the internet to get a clean spin on a conflict going on or something like that, it's like, yeah, good luck finding an unbiased opinion.
No, I mean, I would like just like the Futurama Fry meme to deliver all my email. Like, not sure if terrorists are winning or
I think that's, like, exactly what all media sources are.
yeah, like not like if it was like imagine like the Futurama Fry meme, but like back in World War II.
In World War II?
Yeah, but
Oh,
like
jeez.
imagine if if you used that for like not
Man, I don't think you could, though, because if you use the future, like, I mean, Fry would obviously be brainwashed by the Nazis.
yeah, like
He's
not
Fry.
sure.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't have a clue what's going on.
it'd be a picture of Fry with like the little pencil stash.
Yeah, he would just have
It's
this
like-
little mustache.
Oh, intrusive thoughts. Some
Oh,
of this will
Jesus.
need to be cut. Probably not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah, no, this, I will make decisions on if I want to keep any of this in.
I think even this part where we're deciding whether or not it should stay in should stay
Yeah,
in.
no, I think I'm going to cut out the worst parts, but I'm going to leave in this part where we're talking about cutting stuff out, so the people listening won't actually know how bad it got.
But if you do want to learn how bad it got, join our Patreon. Uncut episodes.
Uncut, oh, Jesus.
So, do you have a getting back to like internet meme culture and like sort of like that, like the internet subcultures that you had on like Tumblr and 4chan and like now it's like Reddit
So
and
I
like
never
TikTok.
Tumblred before.
You never
Anyway, sorry.
Tumblred?
No, I never really
I
Tumblred.
interneted a lot more than you interneted.
I think I interneted differently than you.
You probably
I
interneted
did
differently.
I stumble upon. I don't know if you stumble upon.
Oh, Stumble Upon.
I loved Stumble Upon so much.
Stumble Upon, yeah. I remember Stumble Upon. Do you remember, I guess it's technically not meme culture, I'd call it internet culture. Was it board.com? or like boardgames.com?
No.
Did you ever play the Impossible Quiz? We interneted so differently.
So the Impossible Quiz sounds extremely familiar, but I can't quite think of what it was.
I bet you I could still...
may or may not have done it.
I bet you I could still get through, like, the first 30 questions of the Impossible Quiz pretty quickly.
How many questions are there?
It's like, I think it's 100. I have beaten it in the past. I'm just saying, like, memory-wise, I think I could probably still get through. Because it's nonsensical. Like, we could do like a quick cut right here, and I could have my screen show me trying to do the Impossible Quiz really fast. No?
Yeah.
Screw you, internet.
Even the Impossible game, or the Impossible Quiz, what the fuck's it called?
The Impossible Quiz. It is.
So
it is
the Impossible Quiz has sold out.
It is so deeply ingrained in my memory. It just is. It is.
Yeah.
It is just so deeply ingrained.
I
haven't done that. I have not done that in probably a decade. And like I said, I just remember like Fatang, the small some of those I'll never forget them.
I mean, I was honestly just thinking of the sound of a bell, and it is Fatang. Ding.
Yeah, some of them make complete sense.
Yeah.
But so that growing up, like that was my games like that and like stupid shit.
Yeah,
like, that's what
I think that was our internet, and I think that's the pre-YouTube stuff, because that was like
for sure.
Like E-Bombs World. You ever go on E-Bombs World? It was like a video hosting site. Or,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't frequent, but I do know.
Yeah,
what you're talking
I
about.
did that, and I did like Newgrounds stuff like that, where it was like just a lot of random animations people would make, and like Flash games.
Old Flash games were so good.
Did you play Line Rider? Do you remember Line Rider?
Yes, I did play Line Rider. It was not... I didn't play Line Rider as much as I played the original Balloons.
Balloons?
No, Balloons. Bloons, with the little monkeys that throw the darts and you have to pop all the balloons. We really did have... It. We had such different internet... Such different internet experiences.
So it is very interesting. I think it may actually come down to us being a year apart in age, because
maybe
I think the internet changed that quickly when we were coming up.
Maybe. Let us know in the comments which internet you were a part of. Greg's internet or my internet?
What I'm describing or what Anthony's describing.
Like, does what I'm saying ring more true for you or Greg? Like board game, now, like I said, I didn't part of why kind of 4chan and some of those were more not, I don't want to say early, but for me more high school, is because I did a lot of anime convention stuff and some anime and stuff like that. That particular
4chan just lives in that world.
Yeah, that particular subset of people, that's where they lived.
Wait, you did anime conventions in high school? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I went to a few, and I used to do some of the Sleeping Samurai sword stuff, and it was fun stuff.
What is Sleeping Samurai sword?
It's think of it like lightsaber fighting with rules. It's just foam sword stuff kind of thing. So
LARPing kind of a thing.
Yeah, kind of they would have tournaments and stuff, and then cosplayed a couple of times.
Nice. Yeah, I've always thought about going to them, and I feel like I always was I was too self-conscious to ever go to something like that, because I've always been a huge anime person, and I just never...
Talk about things heavily ingrained in internet culture. It's anime.
Oh, yeah. Especially when we're talking about 4chan. Those two, 4chan and anime, just go hand in hand.
Again, it's one of those things where it was an early platform. It was pre-Reddit. Might have even been pre-Tumblr.
2003. I think it's pre all of that stuff.
It's pre a lot of it. I mean, internet was invented in what, late 80s?
Something like that. It was widely available probably until the mid 90s.
Yeah, whenever, and that's when everybody sort of had your desktop,
mail.
And it would take 8 years for an image to load, kind of thing.
Insert dial-up sounds here. Yep, something like that.
Oh, were you gonna insert real dial-up sounds?
Yeah. No, I'll put real ones in.
I thought mine were pretty good.
I mean, they were great. we did not need a redux. Part 2.
Just in case the mic didn't pick it up the first time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say Discord cut it out, and I really appreciate it for that. But I have a feeling that your actual mic probably picked it up.
My internet sounds were so good that Discord thought that it wasn't me making sounds, but background noise.
It was like 50-50. Yeah, that's actually probably props to your internet dial-up sounds.
See?
Dial-up internet sounds.
Internet dial-up sounds?
Internet dial-up sounds, yep. I guess it works either way.
Oh my god, kids today they will not understand that, like, how mad you would get when you were, like, in the middle of, like, an AIM chat and somebody would, like, make a phone call.
Oh, yeah. Or you're, like, playing Neopets or something.
Like, I'm in the middle of trying
trying to get some egg from the giant omelet, then mom gets a phone call, and now you have to start all over again.
Such different internet.
Yeah, the world is so different. Like,
no, you and me. I never played Neopets.
You never played Neopets?
Never played Neopets.
You never. Oh my god.
Nah, dude. I was more like original RuneScape kind of like.
I was also original RuneScape though. I think we can come together on original RuneScape.
Yeah, I love that original RuneScape is back, like graphics and all.
Oh yeah, they left. I think it's never left. I think it continually was played. They updated it and made it better, and then people revolted. And they went back to like 2003.
Yeah, it's like the early 2000s scrap.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
2000, yeah, like 2005.
It's literally the name of it. It's RuneScape 2000 something.
I don't know. I would have been in like 6th or 7th grade, so that would have been.
Because I was in middle school.
4 years before 11 is 7.
It's 2007. Yep, RuneScape 2007 is old school RuneScape.
I had to reverse engineer the math real quick.
They literally just call it RuneScape old school.
Mm-hmm. It has tons of players.
Well, it was such a fun game. I remember I used to play with a couple of friends until one of them decided to actually like purchase the monthly plan thing when all of us were playing free. So they got like the best armor, could go to all these different places that you couldn't go to in the free world.
We had a guild and we used to lure new players up to the wilds
up into the wildy,
slaughter them.
Yeah, you were one of those guys. I was one of the people that went into the wildy. People would try to kill me and I would just kill them, and then I would just mine rune essence.
I just want my runes. Leave me alone, dude. The first thing I did was I got my crafting all the way up to 99, so I could join the crafting guild and just mine free gold. But then I realized that my mining level wasn't high enough to mine gold efficiently, so then I had to go get my mining level up, and then I could make cool stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't do anything like the way you're supposed to except mining. I just got my mining level all the way up, and then literally just mined rune ore. That's all I did. Made a shit ton of money, and that was like my game. That's all I did. And then around that time when I started doing that is also when my friend got the subscription, and I got kind of bored with it and just kind of stopped playing at that point. But it was fun.
This was like before like I knew how to do anything like writing scripts on the computer or anything. So I would just literally take a piece of scotch tape and like tape down the mouse button in front of the ores so I could walk away and do stuff while I mined.
We still do that shit. We still fucking PAL World. We would just put our
put a little weight
on the B or the F key, whatever it was. So it just kept making PAL balls or orbs or whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah, some things never change. Shout out PAL World for not letting me just click make all. I have to sit there and hold the F key down.
Button. Yeah, well, we're just gonna put some weight on the F key.
Yeah, literally just I put it like my keys are the exact size of a D6 I keep on my desk.
I put a D6 and then I put my Bluetooth speaker on top of the D6 and
right
it
there.
Just weighed it down.
Yep.
That was it.
So what's your print memes? We haven't really talked about them.
Which one?
They're like print memes. So not like internet as a whole, but like literally just picture with words. Do you have an all-time favorite?
I do.
What is it? Because I have like two that I love and I can't really decide between the two. So what's your all-time favorite?
Velociraptor. I love Velociraptor.
I forgot about Velociraptor.
That's always my favorite one.
So I love Velociraptor.
I'm gonna stick by that, but in a close second is was it like the confused Keanu one, or like the one? No, it wasn't Keanu Reeves. It was the one where the guy is like
there was lonely Keanu.
No, who was the one that like the guy was like at a party or something and he had like a sudden realization or something like that? Yeah. The sudden realization meme. Do you know the one that I'm talking about?
No.
It's just the guy at the party with these like giant eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that this is also a product of us literally being a year apart because I didn't see very much of this one.
You didn't see this?
No, I've seen it.
It's really crazy.
I don't know.
do
I've
feel
seen
like
it.
our worlds didn't collide until we met in college. I think we were two separate worlds, and then our like life streams overflapped at that point.
Yeah, because like I've definitely seen that one, but like to say
Uh-huh.
that is like one of the most
I
recent.
love that one.
Yeah.
Not recent, but like.
So I have two.
Wait, PC doesn't equal laptop. Spiders are the only web developers that enjoy finding bugs. I love these so much.
God, I love memes. So my two favorite, and it's hard for me to pick between the two. The one is One Does Not Simply Walk into Mordor,
It's
but
so
like
good.
that one.
Now, wait, pause before you
classic.
move on. Like, do you like it because of the content of the memes or because we're drawing on Lord of the Rings?
Little column A, little column B, porque no la. Speaking
Why
of other
not
good
both?
memes, porque no las dos.
Porque no las dos.
Speaking of other internet things, porque no las dos. Like, it's like the nostalgia of it being Lord of the Rings, but also just like the simpleness and like.
It's just
I think
fun.
an important aspect of a meme is that it's relatable, because if it's not relatable then it's not fun. So
Agreed.
it's like, and it's everyone that is a part of internet culture, more or less, I don't want to generalize, has seen Lord of the Rings and knows exactly what Sean Bean is doing right here.
More or less. Now
One does not
also,
simply share a meme.
So I also think that there's going to be like an age cutoff for that one. In the comments, let me know if you have seen that and you understand what that meme is from.
Do you know what we are talking about?
Do you know what we're talking about right now?
One does not simply walk into
Yeah.
Mordor is the line, but the meme also just like,
I will put up a picture of just what the meme looks like if you're watching on YouTube. Tell us if you know what that is. If you don't, actually no, tell us if you don't know what that is, because that's more going to be the interesting part.
and so my other favorite, and I cannot, it will be, I think will be equally age cutoff, is condescending Gene Wilder.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you don't think?
Yeah. Oh, so tell me again how you like it, just like I
That's a good one.
love
That's a very good one.
some of my favorites are, well, I think it's technically condescending Wonka is like the title of the
Wonka, but Gene
I think
Wilder
that's, yeah,
and
but it's Gene
Wonka.
Wilder. But I think that one will also have a hard cutoff because like our generation grew up with Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka.
So
Younger people have Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka.
I'm going to hope with this one that original Willy Wonka is still something that everyone is shown. Because like Johnny Depp, Willy Wonka, I love the movies. Fun. He does a good job. Big Tim Burton fan. But original Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, so good.
Yeah.
So good. It's just like it blows everything else out. It's like the special effects aren't there that are in the new ones. The story's a little less topsy-turvy, but just the way that it's done, it's so good.
Well, no, they didn't use special effects. That little girl
I meant
really did turn into a
virtual effects.
blueberry.
She puffed up
Yeah.
into a blueberry.
Yeah, they used it was air hoses.
Yeah.
Just the stuff right in her mouth.
Yeah,
Green
and
screen.
they just blew her up.
Skin very flexible. Yeah.
Real
No,
science. Real science,
Yeah,
guys.
she signed a waiver. She had to sign a waiver for that. I literally just got a notification from the Reddit app. The phone's listening.
The phones, they are totally listening.
Yeah.
My
I love the internet. It's so funny how
it is so much fun.
How like we've had like different like there like you said there's some overlap, but like I'm super excited to see where internet and meme culture and stuff is going, and as much as people will think that it's bad or just like a moral decay, I love how it's like I'm a big fan of TikTok because if I have done a good job of setting up my algorithm to where I feel like my For You page has the perfect blend of funny, comical nonsense, storytelly sort of stuff, and then just like interesting educational things. Like I follow a lot of really good chefs. I follow a lot of like we were talking about, like the astronomy thing, or like every October I look forward to the girl that does spooky lake month, where she does 30 days of haunted hydrology, and she has like a
wait, pause. What the fuck does that mean?
yeah. So on her channel, she like talks about spooky lakes and like, or like different spooky waterways, and like talks about them, like educates you, and then like rates them 1 out of 10 spookies.
Just by oh, it's funny. I just said, "What the fuck does that mean?" But I have definitely seen that. Literally, just because you said it was rated out of spookies.
Yeah, I look forward to every October.
Ratings.
I look forward to every October when she does her spooky lake month. I don't even know who she is, and I love how people pop up out of nowhere, and sometimes they can stay there. Sometimes they're not, like Icarus's son. No, Icarus. Icarus was
flying too close to the sun.
Yeah, but Icarus was the one that flew too close to the sun. His dad was was it Daedalus?
I can't remember.
I think it's Daedalus. I'm not gonna.
But yeah, Icarus
flew too close to the sun. So like sometimes they're an Icarus, like, but sometimes they just they
skirt the edge.
Yes,
they get that Hank Green thing in there, and they get huge and they stay huge.
Hank Green is cancer can't even kill Hank Green. Hank Green is undying.
Hank Green is unstoppable. Unfortunately, you know what's not unstoppable? Corn. Apparently, corn was only good for the beginning of one summer.
Oh, it's corn.
It's corn.
Yeah. Well, that's
big
like
lump of knobs. It was so much fun, but it was just popped up and it went away.
No, but he made like a bunch of money off of that.
Oh no, he did do well. I actually saw an interview of him where he said that he was retiring from doing appearances and stuff because school was starting.
Yeah. No, it's just like it's
that's
insanity.
fantastic. That's so much fun.
And I think my favorite part, particularly about TikTok, and then like 3 weeks later when all the TikToks end up on Instagram Reels, is
and then 4 weeks later when they end up on YouTube.
It's just not up to them. Like, there's no, as far as I can tell, there probably is, like, I'm sure some superior AI could figure out some, like, means for success, but at least in my assertion, most of the time, it is 100% just the random will of the people who blows up on TikTok and who doesn't. Because there's millions of uploads probably a day, and you see, like, I'll get For You page videos where it's like 3 likes and stuff, like, and like it's like, hey, is this good or not? And it just like takes that one little like landslide moment of like one person's video. Like, it doesn't even have to be good or even that particularly funny. Just like any one person can blow up for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, and honestly, I think what we're talking about right now, it's not even necessarily limited to TikTok. I think TikTok and a lot of these social media platforms that were kind of like are very quick and direct to the people, even going back to like YouTube and stuff like that, it gave a way for people to be famous and to get out to the rest of the world without following the traditional kind of like gate-kept ways of getting there.
Yeah.
So I mean, you think about, like, if I remember correctly, like Justin Bieber, who's like one of the biggest celebrities probably in our lifetime.
I'll give you that. Okay.
Up there.
Sure.
I mean, he had some rough patches in there, but I mean, he was huge in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I mean, he started as just a YouTube artist that Usher discovered.
Yeah, he's just like a kid drumming on YouTube, and Usher was
like,
on YouTube. That kid.
He's got it. And like someone sees something that's posted and just builds it up, and like nowadays, like with the TikTok and stuff, you don't even need like the help of anybody else. It's like you just post it, and if it gets to enough people and enough people like it, everyone knows you now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy.
Yep. And I just, if you would have told me, like, and I've like, clearly you and I sort of grew up and like exist in this culture to a certain extent, but if you would have told me that like content creation is like a viable, like a truly viable path to like make real money at like, and it not be luck, because now the thing is there's enough consumers of it, and it's so ingrained with popular culture and mainstream life, like mainstream day to day, that there's enough consumption to where if you make good content, if you're diligent, it's repeatable. And
Exactly.
you have guys like Mr. Beast on YouTube,
Yeah.
where it's
I mean,
he is so short, and he's talked about it in interviews where it's like, if you took my name off of it, took everything off of it, and I had to start from scratch, I could rebuild. I could do it again.
I think he could. I actually went on this weird tangent a couple years ago when I went back to the very beginning of Mr. Beast's videos. I went all the way back to the first stuff when he was literally just like streaming like Call of Duty. And then he moved on to where he was doing like scratch off videos where he was just scratching lottery tickets. And then he really started to blow up in two places. One was he started to make a little bit of money because people started watching him. So he broke his brother's laptop, I believe, but bought him a new one. And that was one.
Oh, you know what? I remember that video.
That was one that was like when he started to get big. And then the other one, he started taking drones into the parks nearby his house, and they were just holding a bunch of cash, and he would just drop the cash and just let people have it.
Yeah.
And those were the kind of things that like he started with. But I think that if Mr. Beast wanted to try to start over again, I think he would do fine. I believe he's probably kind of like a genius savant at this stuff, and he has this work ethic that's not everywhere. I think if not necessarily any, but I think a lot of people that were famous in early YouTube days tried to start up now. I don't think they would be anywhere near as famous as they are now.
I understand what you're saying, and I
think there are people that would be, but
my slight counter is like early YouTube. I feel like was a lot like TikTok now, where whether or not your video like. Everyone's seen anybody that's like around our age, like you've seen old Greg from the Mighty Boosh. Like you've seen
I'm old Greg.
I'm old Greg. You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe? Could you love me?
Do you love me?
Could you learn to love me? That's Noel Fielding from Great British Bake Off for anybody that's never put two and two together.
So that's Noel Fielding from, I think you already said, the Mighty Boosh originally, and then he went into Great British Bake Off.
I feel like more people that are going to listen to this will know the Great British Bake Off than Old Greg. Let us know in the comments, Old Greg or Great British Bake Off.
Noel Fielding.
But so like, but like the shoes or like the muffin video.
Oh my god!
Like shiz. Israeli-Palestinian conflict
muffins. Yeah.
To quick callback to our earlier conversation about news in the Middle East. Glass. Bourbon muffin. Yeah.
But those are the things that we kind of grew up with. Like that was like our life.
There was no reason that those videos were popular.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
So
like
today, nobody would watch them.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying is like old YouTube was like now TikTok is like there's no and I mean that in like there's not really a rhyme or reason to like what random nonsense happens to blow up because like some girl in a white tube top did a shitty version of a dance and for whatever reason got 1 million views and now everyone's making videos, whatever.
It literally just hit the right audience at the right time and enough people watched it that now it's big.
And now it's just like, but I don't think any of those will be as like permanently ingrained in culture as like some of the old YouTube stuff. So like there's that. But I guess what I'm saying is now it's so commercialized, it's so commoditized, and there's so much data available for the consumer that if you do your due diligence. So that's what I mean and that's what he talks about in the interviews when Mr. B says he could strip everything down, like not as a pseudonym, whatever, and like build another channel up. It's because he understands how it works. The point is that it's teachable. So that's like, and if it's repeatable, then it's achievable.
So I think it's teachable and repeatable right now because of like we were talking about before. The content is fed to you by an algorithm, and because it is fed to you by an algorithm, you can kind of have studies of what is going out and what people are looking at, and you can look at data and you can see what makes things interesting. Because like even like prepping for this podcast, like learning how to do this kind of thing, learning how to edit, learning how to do all of this fun stuff, because I'm doing this editing and stuff, I'm not just learning how to edit, I'm learning how to make thumbnails, I'm learning how to like what titles are going to be catchy, I'm learning how long should these episodes be, because all of this plays into this algorithm that decides if this is going to be fed to people or not. And so, like, I'm looking right now, we're at like an hour and 32 minutes of speaking. After editing, this will be about an hour.
Unless you subscribe to our Patreon. Unless you subscribe to our Patreon. But that's my point. It's the internet, and I think that's where internet culture is going to continue trajectory wise. I think we're well past the early 2000s where it was like relegated. It was like, because like internet culture was relegated to sub pages of the poster child websites for the internet, and it
was a lot more fringe. It was like the outside, like it wasn't the mainstream thing that like the cool kids didn't hang out on the internet.
Yeah, you could get bullied because you watch
too much anime.
What? Shut up.
I
never got bullied for watching anime, but and then when you start tacking on-demand like drop shipping sites like Shopify, or like you and Yana have done stuff on not Pinterest. What's the Etsy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like stuff like that where you can create content to drive people to those platforms.
Yeah.
Or like you can create shirts that people can like print on demand and have them sent, like whenever now it's so easy.
It's global too.
It's gone from fringe entertainment to being like where being entertaining can generate you a living, especially if you then take it even a step forward and make it a business for yourself. And it just like that was never, and I think that's the trajectory it's going to keep going at, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because the easier and the more technologically advanced we get, I think the more we're going to need to rely on entertainment to sort of like fill the void where plowing the field used to be the thing. Like not that I've ever plowed a field, but
I think it's going to still be a double-edged sword. I think going back to how we were talking about earlier, how people are getting their news and like actually learning about what's going on in the world based on their like own echo chamber. I think that's where this particular type of media consumption is going to have negative effects. But I think it's going to have very positive effects in the fact that, like I said before, it's the opportunity for you to get into things and get noticed without having any kind of like gatekeeping, any kind of like you have to jump through these hoops to get the right person to sign off on your thing that you are actually a good at what you're doing. Instead, you can get directly to the people that want to view your content and kind of skip that middleman that decides yay or nay on if you are worthy.
Yeah, it's like self-publishing yourself instead of like a book or anything. Yeah,
self-publishing. It's self-promotion. It's just if people are interested in what you're doing, they'll watch it and it comes out. And as long as you do it correctly and the algorithm feeds it to people.
Yeah, and it really is like a lot of things, hard work isn't necessarily the only thing that matters, because like you do still need to be organized and be good at the content that you're trying to create. But if you can find your audience, then you're really sort of limited by the amount of effort and time that you want to put into it. That just wasn't the case in the early 2000s, even like 2010s. Wasn't really the case. Like you were if you were making a living off of YouTube, you had gotten lucky. Your content got to the right people, and you got popular like basically through like word of mouth and people sharing your thing, because the algorithm wasn't what it is now.
For the most part, I mean,
I'm not saying that as more of a generality.
That as like right now, it's more playing the algorithm to get your stuff out to people. In the early days, it was more dependent on you just being funny or just being good at what you're doing. I feel like in the early days, it was much more pure. It was like you're saying, I think how you were talking about it, it was like strictly based on if you were entertaining, if you were something that people wanted to watch. And it was like a very clear cut, like more people view your content, so you move up in the world. Whereas now it's like the views are also dependent on an algorithm that feeds people your content.
And if
So
those people
so
like it, then it goes to more people.
Exactly. But also, if you don't have the right thumbnail, if you don't have the right title, if you don't have the right these little pieces, you're possibly just dead in the water to begin with. And it's just never going to feed anything to anybody.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's necessary at this point in time because, like you said before, there's so many millions of hours of content right now being created on like a daily basis.
Daily.
That you need something to filter through it to make it kind of consumable.
And that's so you kind of hit the nail on the head though, because the fact that we now have, even getting away from like social media and internet, like even if you go to like Spotify or like Apple Music, the fact that you have the programs that running in the background saying, hey, you just listened to like 5 hours of this, you would probably also like this. And it's the same with like the internet. So on one hand, sure, it's a little bit limiting for those that don't know how to play the algorithm, but it's good in a twofold way. Number one is we as the consumer, not the creator, but we as the consumer get fed more things that are relevant to us. Now, we talked about
that. We talked about decides is relevant to you.
Yeah, and we talked about, but that's, you know, you skip past a couple of those, and it's not going to send you that anymore. Like if over the course of the next week, if I hard skipped quickly past every cooking video, I'd stop getting cooking videos. So sure, there's a, you know, like you were talking about, that you run that risk of creating like a bit of an echo chamber. But if we take the idea of like politics and like news and stuff out of it, and we're just talking about entertainment content, then it's great, because then we are constantly being fed a mix of the things that we want more of. And in that same way, creators that are making that content have a better chance of finding their audience faster, because it's being pushed to the people that are already consuming similar content. So you still have to be good. You still have to be above board for people to continually watch you, but you are going to find your audience faster than you ever could back in the early days of the internet.
Very true. I agree with that. I think we kind of, it's like almost like cut through the fat. Just get right to what you're trying to get to.
Yeah, like I think this podcast will be forwarded to people via the algorithm for people that like bourbon, hopefully, and then ideally people that just like, you know, mindless banter between friends.
I hope so.
Speaking of, we'd like to think educational banter.
Yeah, no, I mean,
somewhat educational.
I think it's somewhat educational.
Yeah,
I think it's. I've been enjoying this conversation quite a bit.
Final thoughts on the whiskey, Greg. Give it to me.
Oh, you want me to start? Give me a second. I'm gonna take one more sip of this. Wait, Anthony, it's lovely.
It's really good.
It's smooth. It's vanilla. It's light. It goes down easy. As I said in the beginning of this, I think I was going to like it more at the end.
It's so close.
Michter's is not going to number 1. It's going to number 2. It's above the Four Roses, purely because it's smoother and it's sweeter. I almost think I like it more than the Henry McKenna, dude.
Look, you put it where these are personal rankings. You put it where you want.
They are. I understand. I mean, I'm fighting. No, I think I like the Henry McKenna more. It was smoother and it had a more bold, rich flavor. It had like more to it.
There's complexity there, yeah.
This one's much less complex, but having been drinking it this whole episode, it's just tasty. It's just tasty.
It's good bourbon.
So I have to put it above the Four Roses. I don't think I can put it above the Henry McKenna.
I do think the Henry McKenna is better, but okay. So you have this at number 2. Thus far.
I have this at number 2.
We'll probably end up doing these in like batches of like 10.
I've got this one and then the Four Roses.
We'll probably do these in like batches of 10, and then we can do like best of the best episodes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
But because I value, similar to how our internet experiences are different, our bourbon palates are different. I agree with all of your tasting notes, except I still have it below the Four Roses single barrel, because
I can see it.
I appreciate a little bit more of the woodiness, and I like when there's a little bit more pronouncement of some of the flavors. And Four Roses single barrel had a little bit more of like a rye spice that sort of like snuck in there.
It definitely did.
And like those like almost like competing notes, like the complexity of those two for me outweigh the smoothness of this. Now, I will say that as far as adding like a mid-priced quality bourbon that I don't feel bad about leaving the, like, I can pull a bottle off the shelf and like leave with it and like not feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
I think in this you have a winner. But
Like I
if
said,
we're going flavor alone, this is number 3.
Are you sure?
This is number 3.
Okay.
But it especially because it's the first time I've had it. You know,
Which is still fucking
mind-boggling. I know.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-boggling. Put your
Mind-boggling.
mind in a bottle. I'm in a glass case of emotion.
The bad man punted Baxter.
Anchorman for those younger than us. Well, we have our rankings. I got my point. Shout out Woolly Mammoth.
Holy.
You know they're re-releasing Woolly Mammoths? That's for another episode.
Wait.
Yes, that's the teaser.
Re-release.
Yes, you
Woolly
can.
Mammoth.
You can yes, you can.
Re-release
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that gives me a great idea for another episode that we will have.
So stay tuned. We'll have the re-release of Woolly Mammoths coming to you.
We could. I have a guest I have a potential guest for that one.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers, sir.
Buenas noches. I'm a little drunk.